Found out my wife was cheating with my brother, so I filed for divorce. Used the video and bank audio as proof, locked her out of our accounts, had her served during her ethics in purchasing talk, reported the vendor payments, and sold the house to cut them off forever. A fraud text popped up while I was trapped between strangers on a commuter train. It said someone tried to start a loan using my home as the backup. I didn't start any loan, but the request was real and already moving. The only clue was a short voice clip attached to the alert. I'm an air traffic controller, 41. I sit in a tower with headsets on and guide planes so they don't crash into each other. I believe space matters and clear lines save lives. Our split-level house sat in Maple Hollow, the kind of suburb where every yard has a little flag and a little dog. The front steps had a loose brick that I kept meaning to fix. A faded welcome mat stayed crooked no matter how many times I straightened it. Inside, we had a shoe rack stuffed with sneakers, a broken wall clock that was right twice a day, and a fridge covered in magnets from places we never visited again. My wife, Lee, was 39. She worked for the county school district as a purchasing coordinator. She handled vendor bids and signed off on who got paid for what. Her job had rules about honesty and conflicts. She used to say, "If you buy from the wrong person, they can fire you fast." My younger brother, Derek, was 36. He made custom neon signs out of glass tubes and bright gas. His shop smelled like hot metal and sweet glue. He loved attention. He also loved taking things that weren't his. For months, something felt off. Lee's laugh came late, like she was reading a script. She always took her phone to the bathroom. She started saying she had late supplier calls and emergency inventory checks. The words sounded fancy, but her eyes didn't match them. That Friday evening, I was planning a little block party potluck for our street. Not a big event, just a welcome the new neighbors thing. I had promised to set up a small speaker and a folding table in the cul-de-sac. Lee said she'd bring the pasta salad. She even bought a new serving bowl with lemons painted on it, like we were a normal couple doing normal couple things. I took the train home from the airport because my car was in the shop. The commuter train smelled like raincoats and old coffee. My phone buzzed right as we passed the river. Unknown number. No message, just a link. I clicked it because my brain was tired and my guard was low. A video loaded. It was short, shaky, shot from a high corner. It was my home office. I knew it because of the model airplane on the shelf. I knew it because of the scuffed desk where I paid bills. I knew it because of the framed photo of Lee and me at a county fair, the one where she wore a red scarf. Lee walked into the room first. She wore my hoodie. Then Derek followed her. He shut the door with his foot. They kissed like it was familiar. Derek reached up and turned the camera away, but not before I saw Lee smile at him like he was her safe place. The clip ended. My ears rang. The train kept moving. A kid laughed 2 seats behind me. Someone opened a bag of chips. The world did not care that mine had just split in half. Then my phone buzzed again. This time it was the fraud alert from my credit union. Home equity loan attempt blocked. Verify activity. There was an audio file under it. I hit play with my thumb shaking. A woman's voice said, calm and sweet, "Hi, this is Ethan McNally. I want to move forward today. My wife can answer questions for me." Then Lee's voice came in closer to the mic. "He's busy. I have his permission. We need the funds for a family project." The bank rep asked a security question. Lee answered it right. The clip stopped. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up right there on the train floor. I got off at my stop and walked home without feeling my feet. The sky was gray and low. The streetlights were already on. Lee's car was in the driveway. So was Derek's work van, the one with a big neon lightning bolt sticker on the side. I didn't storm in. I didn't yell. I stood on my porch and listened. I heard laughter inside. Derek's laugh, Lee's laugh, a laugh I hadn't heard in months. I walked in like a ghost. They were in the kitchen. Lee was stirring something on the stove. Derek was leaning against the counter like he belonged there. When they saw me, Lee's spoon froze in midair. "Hey," she said too fast. "You're early." Derek lifted his chin like he was ready to fight. I didn't look at him. I looked at Lee. "Why did you call my credit union pretending to be me?" I asked. Lee blinked. "What?" I put my phone on the counter and played the audio. Lee's face went pale. Derek stepped forward. "It's not what it sounds like," he said. I finally looked at him. "You don't get to talk," I said. Lee's voice shook. "Ethan, please, we can explain." I took a slow breath. "Explain the video first." Lee's mouth opened. No sound came out. Derek's jaw tightened. "Someone's trying to ruin us," he said. "Us," I repeated. The word tasted like rust. Lee reached for my hand. I pulled back. I walked out of the kitchen and went to the living room. My hands moved on their own. I called my mom, Karen. She answered on the second ring. I didn't even say hello. "Lee is cheating with Derek," I said, "and they tried to put a loan on my house." There was a pause. Then my mom sighed like I told her the dishwasher broke. "Ethan," she said, "don't make this ugly." My throat tightened. "Don't make this ugly." "Mom, Derek finally has something good," she cut in. "You always act like the sky will fall if you don't control every detail. Lee wants warmth. Derek gives her that." I stared at my wall clock, the broken one, like it might suddenly start working. Then she said the line that burned a hole in me. "If someone has to lose, it should be you. You can handle it." I didn't answer. I just ended the call. That was the kill shot, not the kiss, not the fraud call. My own mother choosing who mattered. Lee came into the living room with wet eyes. "Your mom won't understand," she whispered. I stood up. "She understands fine," I said. "She chose." That night I didn't sleep. I sat in my car on the street and watched the house lights go on and off. Around 1:30 a.m., Derek's van backed out. Lee didn't come outside. She didn't wave. The engine sound faded and the quiet after it felt like a verdict. At 2:10 a.m., I called a lawyer. His name was Jerry Voss. He was 72 and sounded like he had gravel in his throat from years of telling people bad news. He answered with no greeting. "Talk." "My wife is having an affair with my brother," I said. "They tried to take a loan against my house. I have a video and an audio clip from the bank." Jerry didn't gasp. He didn't ask how I felt. He said, "Good, don't confront again, don't threaten. We build a clean case, you meet me now." "Where?" I asked. 24-hour tire shop on Cedar Pike," he said. "They have a waiting room, smells like rubber, no one listens." I drove there and walked into a bright room with plastic chairs and an old TV showing a fishing show on mute. Jerry sat with a folder already open, like he'd been expecting my life to explode. He listened while I explained. He nodded once at the end. "We need receipts," he said. "Money, location, and messages. We stack them, then we move." "How?" I asked. "You work air traffic," he said. "You understand patterns, you find their pattern." By morning, I started digging. Lee didn't know our family iPad still had her district email logged in. She also didn't know the school vendor portal kept history. I searched Derek. I found it fast. Lee had pushed through 3 urgent purchase requests for a company called Bright Arc Installations. That was Derek's business name on paper. Neon signs installed at 2 schools for events that never happened. The amounts weren't huge at first, 600 here, 900 there. But then one request was for $5,000. Emergency replacement lighting. Money proof. I took photos of every screen, I saved PDFs, I sent copies to myself, then I checked Lee's location trail. She used a parking app for the downtown garage near the district office. The app history showed she paid for parking on nights she claimed she was at a supplier. The garage was not near any supplier. It was near a place called Sparkworks Makerspace. I searched Sparkworks. It had private work bays you could rent by the hour. Guess who had a membership? Lee. The Makerspace also had member entry logs. Lee had emailed them once asking for entry time reports for tax reasons. That email was still in her inbox. Under it was the reply with a file attached. It listed her entry times: Tuesdays, Thursdays, some Saturdays. And Derek's member ID was right next to hers, entering within minutes. Location proof. Then I found the messages. Lee used a chat app for the district called Teamline. She wasn't supposed to use it for personal stuff, But she did anyway because she thought no one looked. There was a hidden thread titled Vendor Notes. It was actually Lee and Derek planning everything. They talked about the loan. They talked about getting Ethan to sign once he calms down. They talked about a small studio apartment Derek wanted and how Lee said she could stay there when things get tense. They were building a life in my shadow, communication proof. I didn't have to hire someone to follow them. I hired a forensic accountant instead, a quiet man named Ron Patel. He didn't wear a trench coat. He wore reading glasses and carried a small scanner. Ron met me at a public library study room. He scanned statements, portal receipts, and payment logs. "This is a pattern," he said, tapping the page. "Small district payments, then personal transfers. Then a loan attempt, that's escalation." He pointed at another detail. "See this? She used district vendor numbers to make Derek look approved. That's serious." By day 3, I had a binder full of proof. Then I took control. Not with screaming, with switches and locks they didn't see coming. I removed Lee from our credit union accounts and turned off any shared, authorized user access. I changed my direct deposit at work, so my paycheck went to a new account in my name only. I updated my life insurance beneficiary the same day. I also moved our important documents into a safe deposit box because I had learned Lee could smile while stealing. Jerry filed divorce papers fast. And we had them served in a way that fit her life. Lee was at a district vendor training session in a school auditorium. Rows of chairs, a projector screen. She was presenting ethics in purchasing. A process server walked down the aisle and handed her the envelope in front of everyone. I didn't attend. I didn't need to see her face. Ron texted me one sentence from someone who was there. She went white like chalk. When Lee came home that afternoon, she didn't have her work badge on. She looked smaller, like she had been folded. "You did this at my job," she said. "You did this with my house," I said. Derek showed up 2 hours later, pounding on my door like he had the right. I didn't open it. I spoke through the door camera speaker. "Leave," I said. "Ethan, come on," he yelled. "This is family." I hit record on the camera. "You stopped being my family when you walked into my office on that video," I said. He cursed. Then he drove off. That evening, I met Lee at the kitchen table with Jerry on speakerphone. Lee tried to cry her way out. "I was confused," she said. "Derek needed help. He was depressed. I slid the binder toward her. "Here's the vendor payments you approved," I said. "Here's your SparkWorks entry log. Here's your team line messages." Lee's eyes darted across the pages. Her breathing got fast. Then I played the bank audio clip again. The fraud attempt. Her voice pretending I wasn't me. That was the killer receipt, not romance, not drama. A clean recording of the moment she tried to take my home. Lee put her hands over her mouth. "I didn't mean," Jerry's voice came through the phone, calm as ice. "You meant enough to answer security questions and ask for funds. That's all we need." Lee's face collapsed. The next part was the strike that ended her career. I didn't blast it online. I didn't call her friends to gossip. I sent a tight email to one person, the district's internal auditor, Miss Marlene Cho. I attached the vendor portal receipts, the payment trail, and the chat thread that showed Lee steering money to Derek. I wrote one paragraph. "Please review. These purchases were approved by Lee McNally and paid to Bright Arc Installations, owned by Derek McNally. This is connected to a loan fraud attempt against my home." That was it. Within a week, Lee was placed on leave. The district sent her a notice saying she was under investigation. 2 weeks later, she was fired. Derek didn't stand by her. The moment Lee lost her job, Derek vanished like smoke. He blocked her number. He deleted Bright Arc's social pages. He left town, according to my cousin, who spotted his van heading north with a trailer. Lee called me once at 300 a.m. and left a voicemail that sounded like a drowning person. "Derek's gone," she whispered. "I have nobody, please." I didn't answer. I forwarded it to Jerry. Then my parents invited me over. "Just dinner," my dad said. I went because I wanted to believe my mom's words on the phone were a mistake. I wanted to believe she'd choose me once she saw the proof. Their house smelled like fried onions and furniture polish. My dad sat at the table like he owned the air. My mom stood by the sink, arms crossed. I laid out the binder like a report. Video, bank audio, vendor payments, entry logs, messages. My mom barely looked. My dad stared at me and said, "So you're going to ruin your wife and your brother over paperwork?" "Over betrayal," I said. My mom's voice turned sharp. "Derek made one bad choice. You're punishing him forever." "He made 100 choices," I said. "So did Lee." My dad pushed back his chair. "If you won't forgive, you don't belong in this family." My mom pointed at the door like she had been waiting to do it. "Go cool off somewhere else." They kicked me out, not Derek, not Lee, me. I drove away shaking, and this time it wasn't anger. It was the feeling of being cut loose. I stayed for a while in a crash pad apartment near the airport. It was a plain place with 3 bunk beds and a coffee machine that always tasted burnt. Flight crews used it between shifts. Nobody asked questions. Everyone understood exhaustion. Then the second part of the nightmare came, right on schedule. 2 Saturdays later, I pulled into my driveway and saw my parents' car parked half on the curb. Derek's van was behind it. A rental trailer was hitched to my dad's car. They were on my front lawn. My mom held a folder. My dad held my spare key, the one they still had from emergencies. Derek stood there with his hands in his pockets like this was a boring errand. My mom smiled. "Good, you're home." I walked up slowly. "What are you doing here?" My dad nodded toward the house. "Derek's moving in." I laughed once sharp. "No, he's not." My mom opened the folder. "We started the paperwork. You're going to sign the house over. Derek will take over the payments. It's only fair. He needs a stable place and you're too angry to live alone right now." My dad added, like he was stating the weather, "You can stay with us until you calm down." I stared at them. "You kicked me out of your house." My mom's eyes flashed. "That was discipline. This is family planning." Derek finally spoke, voice low. "You've got a good house. Don't be selfish." That word hit me like a slap. Selfish. For keeping my own home from the brother who stole my wife. I took out my phone. My mom's smile fell. "What are you doing?" "I'm calling the police," I said. My dad's face turned red. "Don't you dare." I dared. 2 officers arrived, calm, professional. They asked for my ID. They asked whose name was on the deed. Mine. My dad tried to argue. My mom started crying and saying, "He's confused, he's stressed, he doesn't know what he's doing." The officer looked at them and said, plain and clear, "You need to leave this property now." My mom sank onto the grass like her legs quit. She sobbed into her hands. My dad's voice cracked as he begged, "Ethan, stop this. You're humiliating us." Derek backed toward his van, eyes darting like he wanted to disappear. I didn't yell. I didn't insult them. I just watched the officers stand between my door and the people who thought they owned my life. When my parents finally got in their car, my mom was still crying. She looked through the window at me, mascara running, like she was the victim of a storm she didn't cause. As they pulled away, she turned her head toward the lawn and cried harder, like the ground itself had betrayed her. I stood there and felt something settle in my chest. Space, distance, separation. A few weeks later, we had mediation in a small office suite near downtown. Beige walls, cheap art prints, a table too shiny, like it wanted to pretend it was important. Lee sat across from me with a new haircut that didn't suit her. Her hands shook around a paper cup of water. Jerry sat beside me, calm as always. Lee's side tried to ask for a big cut of the house. Jerry slid the fraud audio transcript across the table, along with Ron's summary of the district payments. The mediator's eyes narrowed. "This loan attempt was unauthorized?" he asked. "Yes," Jerry said. "The bank flagged it as fraud. There is a recording." Lee flinched at the word recording. I was winning. Not because I wanted trophies, because the truth was heavier than her story. Then the complication landed. Lee spoke up, voice thin. "Your parents said you promised Derek the house one day. They said you're doing this to punish them. They said you'll regret it." I looked at her and I saw it. Even now, she was trying to keep a rope tied to my ankle. Parents, brother, house, same loop. The mediator asked, "Do you want time to think?" I shook my head. Jerry slid one more document toward me. It was simple. It said the house would be sold, not kept. It said there would be no shared property left to fight over. It said all contact about the divorce would go through lawyers only. No side calls, no family meetings, no surprise visits. Lee's eyes widened. "You're selling it?" "Yes," I said. "But you love that house," she whispered. I thought about the loose brick, the crooked mat, the magnets, all the little things I tried to hold together while she made secret plans behind my back. "I loved what I thought it meant," I said. "Now it's just a runway everyone keeps trying to land on." My voice stayed steady when I said the line that ended it. "When two planes are headed straight at each other, you don't argue in the air, you separate them or you die," I signed. Lee started crying. The mediator looked away. Jerry didn't move. That was my point of no return. I sold the house a month later. I packed my life into labeled boxes and left the keys on the empty counter. The lemon-painted bowl was still there. I left it too. 2 years after the divorce, I was working a night shift in the tower at a different airport in a different state. The supervisor tapped my shoulder and said, "Front desk says your mother called." My stomach tightened, but my hands didn't shake. I said, "Tell them I'm not available." He nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. Another 4 years passed. I moved again, about 800 miles farther west, to a busier airport with higher pay and better training. I became a lead controller. Then I became a shift manager. I trained new people and taught them to speak clear, to stay calm, and to never let personal noise spill into the frequency. I rented a small house near a lake, not fancy, clean, quiet. I started building model planes again, not for work, just for peace. I liked putting tiny pieces together and knowing exactly where each part belonged. I met Sienna at a weekend volunteer cleanup by the shoreline. She was a physical therapist and had the steady patience of someone who helps people rebuild without shouting at them. She didn't rush my story. She didn't try to fix it. She just listened, then handed me a trash bag and said, "Let's finish what we came to do." On a warm evening in early summer, we had dinner in a quiet park by the water, not a big celebration, just the kind of calm night that feels like a gift. We ate sandwiches from a little cooler and watched the sky turn orange. Sienna leaned her head on my shoulder. "You look lighter out here," she said. I watched a small plane cross the sunset, smooth and steady. I didn't miss the old house. I didn't miss the old roles. I didn't miss the people who tried to turn my life into something they could trade. I built a new life on purpose, the way I guide a plane on a clean path. I kept my airspace clear and I plan to keep it that way. Thanks for watching until the end. Like, share, and subscribe.